It's time to get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. It's very nice to have all you here. And today we'll be talking about great inspired flight drone and our solutions for advanced data acquisition. SPH Engineering Solutions. I'm Alexey Smirnov. I'm Regional Director at SPH Engineering, and I'll be hosting the webinar today. And I'd like to welcome my dearest guests and partners, Adam Bilmes, Senior Director of Business Development from Inspired Flight Technologies. Hi, Adam. That's a great honor and pleasure to have you here today. And Steve Ekins, CTO and co-founder of our longtime partner, Drone Arrival. Steve, I'm glad that you are here with us today. And the agenda for today is the following. Firstly, Adam will give a great overview of their Inspired Flight IF1200A drone. Then I'll speak a bit about our sensors that can be used this drone. And finally, Steve will highlight some of the projects which utilize our sensors and Inspired Flight drones together. As this year, we spent a lot of time, we as SPH Engineering, to find and to integrate with new drones to support all these new requirements about Blue List, about NDAA certification. And today, actually, that's the first webinar in our series about new drones which we are supporting, and that would be interesting. So a couple of things about organization. Please leave your questions in Q&A feature, Q&A capability of Zoom, and we'll answer these questions after every presentation is finished. And yeah, we are looking for your participation, for your questions, for your ideas, suggestions. Please engage, please be with us. So Adam, you are first. The floor is yours. Please share your presentation and let's get started.
Awesome. Well, Alexey, Steve, thanks for having me on. Really excited to, it's been fantastic really over the last year to work with SPH Engineering as well as Drone Arrival and really start to just expand the capabilities that we can offer to our end users using the platform that Inspired Flight offers. So a little bit about Inspired Flight for those of you who may not have heard of us. We're a California-based manufacturer based out of San Luis Obispo, California on the Central Coast. And our focus really is on that medium and heavy lift space of the kind of the SUAS market. So really focusing on the 10 to 55 pound medium lift, not much focus for us on the small handheld size drones. So our customers really kind of span industrial industries, and our focus is really on that industrial kind of heavier application part of the market. Our mission is a pretty simple one. Our mission is to conserve resources, create jobs, and save lives by leading the domestic SUAS industry. I think that's a mission that we make a little bit of progress on every day. Some of the pillars and kind of focuses of our company that will always be priorities for us. Number one, first and foremost, always is safety, quality, and reliability of our airframes. Build quality, service lifetime. We project minimum 5-year lifetime on all of our airframes. That's number one to us. At the end of the day, Inspired Flight really looks at ourselves as not as a drone manufacturer, but as an aircraft manufacturer, and tries to embody kind of the principles and quality principles that allow those type of companies to be successful. One of the areas really over the last couple of years where we've been making a ton of strides and kind of what leads to this webinar today is focusing on the kind of just full system integration. So recognizing that the drones and the systems that we build, at the end of the day, they're really just tools and platforms to enable amazing use cases and amazing applications for data collection, risk mitigation, efficiency, bottom profit improving, whatever that kind of that end use case is. Right? It's through partnerships and payloads and providing an end-to-end solution that Inspired Flight's really able to serve the market in that way. One of the things we're certainly known for here in the US is customer service. It's a huge part of our company. We offer multiple different enterprise support programs. And if you ask around the industry, one of the things that you're very likely to hear is you're not going to find a drone manufacturer more accessible than Inspired Flight. Right? We're always on. We're always available to provide support to our customers because when they're successful, we're successful. And what we're going to talk about a little bit, as Alexei briefly mentioned, kind of a preface to everything we do is the NDA compliance and Blue UAS nature of our business. Just going back a little bit, and I should mention, I lead business development. I was also co-founder of Inspired Flight back in late 2016. Back in late 2016, when we started the company, really out of a desire to improve componentry available in the market. We originally started as a component manufacturer, motor manufacturer, because when we were building our own drones to do kind of unique applications back then, we were finding just the componentry available on the market was really inferior quality. So kind of in that 2016-17 timeframe, we started building our own components. Quickly realized, especially when DJI owned 90% of the market back in 2017, that wasn't going to be a very lucrative business model for us. So transitioned to building full-on commercial drone platforms. And really in those early days, 2016, 2017, we decided and committed to being an American manufacturer company. It's a big core value of ours is reshoring American manufacturing. And then fast forward a few years, kind of in 2020, when these new government regulations started coming out, Inspired Flight was already kind of well suited to lean into that instead of having to reorient our supply chain. So that's allowed us, I think, a few years kind of to get ahead of some of our competitors and to really build a rock solid American and friendly country-based supply chain. But at the end of the day, all that being said, the aircraft that we're talking about here today is officially Blue UAS on the US's Department of Defense list that's kind of evaluated cybersecurity threats and supply chain for that aircraft. But then at the end of the day, this is kind of the preface to everything that we do in Inspired Flight. Being government compliant, NDA compliant Blue UAS, that's certainly a huge part of our business and how we're able to kind of get into many markets. But it's really important to also understand that we do believe that this industry, it's product against product. It's Blue UAS. Okay, we've said that. We'll move on from there. How do we, and then we talk to our customers about understanding it's Blue UAS, but we're also competing and sometimes excelling in certain areas on the product alone, because it's the product that's going to go with you to do your job every day. So this is a picture of the IF1200A here. In this photo, it's configured with a LiDAR system. And here we're seeing a magnetometer, part of the SPH Engineering payload suite. So just a kind of a brief overview of the IF1200A. It's really meant to be a do-it-all workhorse, an enterprise tool that enables kind of interoperability of payloads, allows a user or company to swap between payload solutions and use cases, and really leverage the IF1200A as a truck, if you will. Kind of, it's built to enable folks to integrate their own technology stacks into it, their own payload solutions, or use one of the payload solutions that is fully integrated and offered by us vis-a-vis drone arrival and SPH engineering tools. Right, the drone at the end of the day, it's an enabler. It's an enabler to what Alexei and Steve are going to talk about in a little bit. So we use an open system modular architecture. RG-Pilot is the backend ecosystem for us. And really the markets that we serve and some of our customers for the IF1200A, the energy and the geospatial markets are the two largest for Inspired Flight. In energy, whether that's oil and gas, which is I think a lot of what we'll be talking today in terms of abandoned oil wells, methane leaks, identifying things like that. Or on the geospatial side, we do quite a bit with civil engineering firms, ecology firms on LiDAR, forestry firms, LiDAR, surveying and mapping, photogrammetry. Those are really core capabilities of the system. In terms of government, being Blue UAS really allows us to serve the government market very well. A lot of those applications that the IF1200A serves for government are very similar to what we're doing on the commercial side, right? The government needs to inspect and maintain their assets just as the industrial world does. But then also the IF1200A, due to its payload capacity, flight time, and kind of ease of use, really lends itself to quite a few defense applications as well. And one of the ones I know we're going to be discussing today that is very near and dear to my heart, and I think extremely important to society right now, is using the IF1200A in conjunction with magnetometer, as you see here, and some other capabilities for demining, right? Certainly a hot topic right now. And I'll let Alexei and Steve will be touching on that shortly. But I think anything to serve the public good and the betterment of society is something that I would guess everybody on this call is fully in support of. Just some key features of the IF1200A. It's a category leader, and that category kind of means electric multi-rotor. So category leader for flight time and payload capacity under 55 pounds, 25 kilograms. And you can see we'll have a graph in the next slide on the true flight time range. The aircraft supports multiple video streams at once with the FPV camera kind of as a standard feature. Portability is a huge thing for the IF1200A. For an aircraft of its size, it's actually not as big as you might think, but I should say an aircraft of its power and the amount of payload capacity and flight time that it offers, it breaks down into a pretty dang small box. The saying we like to toss around in Inspire Flight is you can throw one of them in the back of Toyota Corolla. It'd be classified as one-man transportable, which really makes bringing it out to the field and getting your job done as simple as you can. Due to the hexacopter nature and some of the kind of the design characteristics, the 1200A does offer a motor out redundancy. Not generally for motor failure, those are quite rare, but more commonly, or not very common, but more commonly a propeller failure or a bird strike, something going around the aircraft can survive losing a motor and flying back to the ground under control of the pilot safely. And one of the main features that really enables kind of this whole conversation, the partnerships with SPH Engineering and Drone Arrival, is what we like to call the universal payload interface. Effectively, an accessible way for a customer to integrate their own payload or their own capability. That interface provides pretty much any power voltage rail you would need, multiple UART ports for the flight controller, PWM if you're looking to control servos, and a wide other array of electrical interfaces to allow for communication and integration into the platform. So quickly, just looking at flight time, this is the full flight time curve for the IF1200A. The payloads you see on here are not ones that we use with the SPH Engineering suite. These are kind of more standalone cameras for more basic data collection, inspection, surveying, and mapping, but quite a wide range of flight time, as you can see through this graph. Yeah, just to talk about kind of the partnerships that really allow this aircraft to come to life. So first and foremost, SPH Engineering. Again, Alexei, appreciate you setting this up and having us on. It's been pretty awesome to watch the capability suite of the IF1200A just through the integration of the Skyhub computer basically grow overnight in terms of how can we apply this aircraft to pretty amazing applications, whether that be demining, oil and gas. And I know those guys are going to talk quite a bit more about that. But so the IF1200A integrated with the Skyhub, it enables active terrain following. For example, in that magnetometer photo we just watched, you'd want the aircraft to be able to kind of handle being 0.5 to 1 meter off the ground at one time and being able to operate that in a safe fashion. Some of the payloads that we'll talk about in this webinar, magnetometer, ground penetrating radar, the echo sounder, which is the photo you see in here, and then of course methane detection. I listed a few of the kind of the applications that I love to talk about when it comes to the SPH Engineering suite here. So banded oil well exploration, especially here in the US with new EPA restrictions. That's becoming a bigger and bigger one, as well as gas leak detection. those methane leak fines they're not getting any smaller. And then again, unexploded ordnance being a kind of a huge one in today's society. And then drone arrival. So I should say first, Inspired Flight primarily sells through the channel. We've built a very solid dealer network in the States, Canada, Australia, and starting to get into Europe and some other places. Drone Arrival has been a fantastic partner to work with based out of Illinois. Steve is easily one of the most kind of subject matter expert folks I've ever met from the dealer standpoint. So whenever there's a customer coming to us that's really trying to build a capability or configuration that serves these type of markets, Drone Arrival is always the first one that Inspired Flight turns to. They're fully certified to demo, sell, support Inspired Flight products. And to be honest, arguably can talk about them better than I can at this point. So with that, I'll end my presentation, kind of keep it brief, talking about the platform, and really excited to hear from Steve and Alexei, as well as you guys in terms of questions on anything about Inspired Flight or the IF1200A.
Thank you, Adam. While people are typing their questions, I'll ask my question. First of all, can you disclose, or I don't know, talk a bit about the latest projects, the most interesting projects that have been done with your drone? Just a couple of examples.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's quite a few interesting applications. One of my favorites recently has been using the IF1200A configured with extremely high resolution cameras, for phase 1 cameras for airport inspection and pavement condition indexing. That's been one that's growing really fast here in the States, especially with the infrastructure bill that was just introduced, and a lot of government state agencies needing to really work on inspecting infrastructure. That's been one that's growing quite a bit for us. One of the others that's been growing a ton, that's a little bit more interesting, is it's good. One of my favorites is one of our customers has built a tool that basically installs bird diverters on power lines, and they also use the IF1200A to put true lineman tools on the aircraft to go and inspect power lines. So a lot of the more interesting applications folks are using the IF1200A for really have to do with kind of mitigating risk, taking folks out of hazardous situations. I mean, again, those are just things near and dear to my heart, and really, I think why this company has been built. And then kind of in the oil and gas world, one that's just been growing really, really fast for us, especially with government agencies as well as larger kind of oil companies, is gas leak detection, gas leak visualization, measurements using TDLAS lasers, and really kind of building the IF1200A as a platform that can serve that industry quite well.
Thank you, Adam. Question from Sync. Where do you see the potential of your drone and see Southeast Asia, specifically in Indochina? And can it be used for smart farming?
It could, yeah. We do have a number of customers using the IF1200A for agriculture applications. Inspired Flight does offer multiple multispectral or hyperspectral payloads as a kind of a standard integration. And if you have got a payload that's not one of the ones that we offer, we can of course work with your customer, with you, to integrate that tightly into the system. Southeast Asia, it's not the biggest focus for Inspired Flight today. We do have probably between 5 and 10 IF1200A systems in the Indochina, Micronesia, Singapore areas. So not kind of a massive focus for Inspired Flight today, hopefully one day. But we do certainly have customers based out there. We're fully equipped to be able to export to those countries. There's no import or export restrictions on our aircraft out of the US. And while we don't have support local in kind of Indochina, Southeast Asia today, the closest we would have is in Australia. So a little bit closer than the US in terms of support or the need for repair. But we're always willing to work with folks from other countries. Just typically needs a little bit more conversation.
Yeah, think you know who to contact. You can contact either us or Adam directly or Steve, and we will help you. And the second question also from Sync, probably you have already answered, Adam. Where do you position yourself in Southeast Asia, if there is a possibility?
Yeah, so kind of leading on to the last question, we are looking to expand and starting to grow internationally. I'd say having kind of full local presence in Southeast Asia is still a ways away for us. If that changes because of growth, I'm certainly for it. Yeah, so we can certainly support customers in Southeast Asia, and would likely lean on our dealers in dealer repair network being built out and available in Australia to support that, just more due to time zones and a little bit closer geographically.
Yeah, thank you. The next question is from Mohammed. Would you like to participate in government tender? I know the answer.
Our email's up there. Shoot us an email, sales@inspiredflight.com or to Drone Arrival. We always participate in government bids, government tenders. Being a Blue UAS company, that is a big focus of ours.
Yep. Okay. Question from Jamie. Even two questions from Jamie. Can the Inspired Flight 1200, I know 1200 or 1200A, connect to a course VRS system or a Trimble base station and take photos with those corrected coordinates?
Great question. Short answer is yes. The IF1200A, as well as our new smaller platform that we're launching, the IF800, both have RTK or PPK options available. Both those systems can be used either with a CORS network or an in-trip service. That's typically the easiest way to set it up, but they can also be kind of set up to integrate with your existing GNSS hardware. So if you're working for a Trimble shop, like a shop, TalkOn shop, we can certainly work with you guys to kind of allow the aircraft to leverage those correction data. So for our photogrammetry solutions, we've seen customers get easily as low as 1 centimeter accuracy when using those capabilities. So again, short answer, yes. A lot more details that can be shared in terms of how the aircraft enables those. And again, just invite you to reach out to us, or especially to Steve and Drone Arrival, to kind of discuss how that is set up and used.
Okay. And the next question from Jamie, not about IF1200, but about your newest drone, 800. Jamie, if you can elaborate your question, that would be great, because probably that's the same question, not some question, but same question. That's a typo.
Got it. Yeah. One of the benefits of Inspired Flight, right here in this presentation, we're primarily talking about the IF1200A just due to the larger nature of these payloads and these type of applications requiring it. But one of the main benefits to kind of Inspired Flight is both of the aircraft that we offer are effectively the same. It's the exact same training, exact same user experience, exact same capabilities. The only difference between Inspired Flight aircraft are size, weight, and power characteristics.
Okay, thank you, Adam. And now it's time to move further. Now it's my turn to share what I have. Okay, it works now. Probably you've noticed in Adam's speech many times he was talking about expanding and new capabilities, new opportunities, new business features and business capabilities. And actually, I would like to continue this topic and talk a bit about the way how you can get the most out of your drones and out of your Inspired Flight drone by using our advanced sensors and our software for mission planning and control. A couple of words about us. We are SPH Engineering. We've been creating advanced drone technologies and drone solutions for the last decade, and mainly we focus in the area of data acquisition and data processing. And what we do in this area is the software for flight mission planning and control, and different sensors for data acquisition. And in our vision, all these new capabilities, they allow to get the maximum return of investment on your drone fleet, to get precise and accurate data like the next day, and not to wait for all this expensive and time-consuming, I don't know, boring or drilling in the mining industry, or some, I don't know, digging in the construction industry, but to get data here and now, and to save your time, your money, and everything you need. And I would like to start with our UGCS software. The idea of this software is pretty simple. Why should you fly manually if you can do it automatic in automated mode? And you could say that there are a lot of applications and a lot of software that allows to fly in automated mode. But here, what is important is that UGCS gives you repeatability, gives you ease of use. Like you can use vertical scan capability if you need, for instance, inspect buildings or towers or high walls in open pit mines or rock cliffs. You can save your time significantly for LiDAR and photogrammetry missions, because you don't need to calculate anything, to think about any parameters of your mission. All you need to do is just to draw the area to scan, to set a couple of parameters, or maybe you can even import your KML or KMZ data and start doing this mission automatically. And what is even more important for difficult terrains is that in UGCS, we are proud to use our so-called smart AGL terrain following. This is a great feature that allows you to follow your digital elevation model in a very accurate, very precise way, so that you won't risk with your drone, and you won't need to, to worry about your drone, because all you need to do is to upload the digital elevation model and to build your flight plan in these great immersive 3D models. And if you have, for instance, some drones and you want to switch to inspired flight drones, you can do it seamlessly. No need to replan, no need to plan your missions again. All you need to do is just to connect new drone, and you can use all your missions, all your flight data, like at the same moment. And if you have a lot of drones and you want to save your time and to shorten your projects, you can control even up to 20 drones with our UGCS commander. That's pretty simple. You just draw missions for several drones, and UGCS commander coordinates flights of all these drones. And UGCS is really popular, and it's used by hundreds of companies around the world every day in different industries, starting from construction and engineering for LiDAR missions, photogrammetry missions, facade scanning, in the mining industry for volumetrics, for high wall inspections, mineral exploration, whatsoever, energy, telecommunications, agriculture, law enforcement. So I can name it and name it and name it. And literally, we have customers in all this. We have happy customers, I would say, in all these industries, and we are always looking for new features, for new capabilities to support new drones and to support new use cases. And honestly, your drone program and your drone fleet shouldn't do just photogrammetries, photos, videos, and LiDAR missions. You can do more, and you can do way more. And it's even more effective and more efficient if you use our integrated sensor for this advanced data acquisition. What I mean by advanced data acquisition is, for instance, geophysical data or hydrological data, water samples, methane detection, a lot of things you can do. And what is great, that it can be done 10 times faster. And you can minimize your mobilization, data acquisition, data processing time, because that's like literally doing, it's done automatically, repeatable process, and the quality is always the same. And you can work in inaccessible terrains. I mean, inaccessible for classic exploration techniques like handheld devices or helicopters or planes, and you can avoid significantly risk to personnel. And that's really important, especially in the mining industry or in the construction industry. And as we are using industry-based data standards and data formats, you can seamlessly integrate all this new data into your workflow to support your classic exploration techniques, to support your business decisions, and just utilize all this data in the most holistic and efficient way. What are the sensors we have now? I'll start with ground penetrating radar. I won't dive into details today, because the main idea today is to give you an overview of the available sensors, and we'll have another sessions for all these case studies and physics and data processing about the sensors. But today is just about sensors and their applications. The idea of ground penetrating radar is pretty straightforward. It sends radar radio signals below the surface, gets the signal back, and based on this received signal, you can understand what is hidden below the surface. Here is on the right side of my slide, you can see the unprocessed data. Here is actually, that's bathymetry. Here you can clearly see the bottom of the pond, and you can measure the depth of this pond, and you can understand what is the sediment and all these things. And here on this picture below, that's from one of the projects for utility mapping. That's a gas pipes. We traced these gas pipes without any digging, just using our drone, our sensor, and you can get this pretty picture. You can export it into AutoCAD or any other CAD software, and just use it for your construction projects or any other types of project. Where is it used? Construction engineering, for utility mapping, or any types of non-destructive control, for demining, as Adam said, and yeah, that's even more important nowadays in the mining industry, for tank storage facilities monitoring, for geological stratigraphy, and a lot of use cases and a lot of applications in environmental studies, glaciology, landslides prevention, bathymetry, any area where you need to understand what is hidden below the surface without the need to dig or to drill. We have 3 GPRs in our portfolio, the entire IF1200A and 1000. What is the difference between them? First of all, that's penetration depth and the size of the object you can detect. You see, with the low frequency radar such as Zontera LF, you can scan up to 20 meters, depending on the soil conditions. But the minimum size of the objects you can detect is just half a meter. But for instance, with high frequency GPR, you can detect objects as small as several centimeters, like up to 5 centimeters. And that is very important if you need to detect something small. The next sensor I would like to talk about today is echo sounder. And the same idea, we want to understand what is hidden about the surface, but surface this time is water. And that's a sonar device, the same as it's used, for instance, on submarines or boats, sends sound signal to measure water depth and to detect underwater objects. And what you receive as data, you can get these beautiful depth maps or 3D view of bottom profile. You can measure sediment thickness to understand, for instance, before dredging projects, how many sediment you'll have to dig out. And actually a lot of applications in all these hydrography and construction projects. As I said, you can monitor the volume of water, and for instance, for tailing ponds, you can plan your cleaning activities, dredging activities, perform underwater inspections, and to use it for flooding control and flooding prevention. Here we have two sensors, single frequency and dual frequency. The main difference between them is their measurement range. Like single frequency can measure the depth up to 100 meters, and dual frequency up to 200 meters. And what is cool for dual frequency echo sounder, it can also measure the sediment thickness. And as I said, that is crucial for tailing storage facilities monitoring in the mining industry and for dredging projects in the construction industry or any type of environmental projects. Next one is methane detector. Pretty self-explanatory. It detects methane gas in the air, and that's important for monitoring of methane in dairy and landfill industries. So to say, in all industries where these greenhouse effect gases are strictly controlled and monitored and regulated by the government and all these laws, and also to detect leaks at oil and gas facilities. And the sensors, what it does, it measure the concentration of methane, and what you get is this beautiful map of methane concentration. And based on this map, you can understand where was the leakage, or if your methane concentration, for instance, at your landfill is complying with current regulations. Should you do anything, or it's okay, and all these things. So as any other sensor, it helps you to get the data you need to make business decisions and operational decisions. And the last but not least sensor I would like to highlight today is it's a magnetometer. What it does, it measures magnetic density, and based on this magnetic density and magnetic field, it can build a heat map of, that's my name, heat map of metal objects, to highlight and to show you where is the most possible location of the magnetic object you can be looking for. What it can be pipes, it can be cables, it can be any type of wires, it can be unexploded ordnance, or if you are, for instance, in the mining industry, it can be a huge ore body, for instance, gold or copper or zinc, whatever you need to explore during your mineral exploration project. Also, Adam has already mentioned that it's for abandoned wells detection, because, for instance, in the United States, there are plenty, like, I don't know, thousands or maybe even millions of abandoned wells, and all of them are like a hazard to the nature and hazard to the people. And it's important to understand and to find them. Also, 3, even 4 magnetometers in our portfolio. And what is the difference? There is a difference in sensors used, in sensors used. And actually, this influences largely their area of application. For instance, Magnimbus is designed to be used, for instance, for unexploded ordnance detection, because as you can see in this picture, it can fly like a couple of inches above, the sensor is a couple of inches above the ground. Or Magero, for instance, can be used for mineral exploration, like flying up to 10 or even 15 meters above the ground level. And what helps to connect all these sensors to drones, and what allows us to find new applications and to find new sensors to be used with your drone? That's our SkyHub onboard computer. That's our designed and manufactured onboard computer, which enable to integrate information from different sensors to communicate with the drone flight controller, to control the drone, to be integrated with altimeter to support different flying modes like true terrain following or grasshopper flight mode, and to provide extended UAV diagnostics, for instance, if you need to deep dive into some problem and to understand what is happening. And although all these sensors can look pretty complicated, and you may be afraid of all this cost required to start, but actually your advanced drone program can be launched in just a few steps. First thing is reach out to us, and we will help you to choose the right sensors for your projects. To us, to drone arrival, or to inspired flight. Then, after we understand what sensor is the best for your objectives and for your goals, we will help to train and certify your pilots to use these sensors to use the data, to understand all insights you can get from this data. And then the last step will help you to integrate the data you'll be acquiring into your workflows, and to start using them for informed and advanced business decisions. Shortly, that's all I have for today. And I recommend all of you to check out our webinars for all these sensors, and we have them a lot, and we plan to do some kind of workshops pretty soon. And now let me switch to the questions we have. The first question from Andrew Torgerson. In UGCS software, how do you account for unexpected tall trees in heavy vegetation and large terrain changes? For example, west coast of Canada. Usually what we recommend to do to all our customers who use UGCS and our sensors, the first step in your workflow should be to conduct a LiDAR flight to get up-to-date point cloud. Based on this LiDAR point cloud, you can create up-to-date digital elevation model. You upload it to UGCS, and UGCS just take all this data into account for planning and controlling your aircraft. Next question from Jamie Davis. Are there attempts to get all of the GPRs registered with the FCC for use in the USA? Yes, there are attempts, but no, that's not so fast to get all them registered and certified. Unfortunately, as for now, only Zone Tire 500 is allowed to be used, widely for all customers and all companies in the United States. But we know that it's possible to use low frequency GPRs without registration and without certification. If you are doing this for a research project, For instance, if you're a university or you're a governmental entity who does some research project. And the second thing, if it's used in secluded areas and remote areas, and there is no risk for people around. But we are trying and we are pushing to get and to understand how to have new sensors certified. Yeah, hopefully there will be updates. Next question again from Andrew Torgerson. Is EcoSounder limited to fresh water or salt water? Okay. Yeah, both are okay, fresh and salt, and even it can be used in acid or in any types of liquids. To be honest, the only thing you need to do is just clean up your sensor after every flight, just to prolong its lifetime. A question from Vitaly. In order to detect a 7 to 10 centimeter objects with a GPR, how high above the ground should one fly? Usually for all GPRs, we recommend to fly the lower, the better. Yeah, the lowest possible. Usually, the recommended flight height is 50 centimeters. That's 2 feet for those who are using imperial system. And as Adam said, altimeter and terrain following mode allowed to do this. You just program the required minimum height, you program your mission, and then altimeter and autopilot control this all. But the main rule, the lower, the better. The better data you will have, the less time you'll have to spend to process this data. Question from Sync. All data is stored in the cloud. Where is the repository? And as most executives are based at different locations, those decisions must be made seamlessly. No data is not uploaded to the cloud. All the data is stored on the SkyHub computer. So after you finish your mission, you can download it to your laptop, upload to your cloud, corporate cloud, and just use it as you want to use it. Question from Jamie. How is the SkyHub integrated with Inspired Flight 1200A? Fully integrated. Yeah, that's our achievement this year. We spent some time with guys from the Inspired Flight Engineering team. Yeah, and it's integrated. The only difference with for instance, DJI drones is that SkyHub is not controlling the flight itself, but the autopilot inside the drone it takes all the responsibility of terrain following. But all other features, for instance, for sensor connection and data logging, are totally the same. Question from Nathan. Hello, I'm in Uganda, want to do drone light shows. What kind of drones will I be needing and what sensors? Not the sensors and not the drones we are talking about today. I would recommend you to check our website. We have 3 types of drones that can be used for drone light shows. And I'll type, yeah, just visit our website and you'll find all the information about drone shows there. Can we use multiple sensors since coastal area ports, hydrography, need EcoSounder, GPR, etc.? Yes, Mohammed, of course you can. All you need to do is to unlock one sensor. I mean, not unlock, just disconnect one sensor, connect another sensor, and make a couple of changes in SkyHub configuration file, and that will work for any drone. For Inspired Flight drone, yeah, just you can do it seamlessly. Next question from Dylan. Can we for AGL, can we upload Google Earth 3D data instead of completing extra flights? You can, but you won't, and by default, in SkyHub, you have, or not in SkyHub, in UGCS, you have preloaded digital elevation models, open ones, I mean, but it won't give you up-to-date information like about all these fallen trees and about I don't know, cars, new buildings, whatever. So LiDAR flights takes like 10 minutes at the maximum. It's better to spend this 10 minutes, but to be on the safe side. Question from Cambis: is it possible to detect methane on lakes real time? Methane leakages probably real time. Yes, it's possible. You fly and you get the data as soon as you finish your flight, and you can even monitor this methane concentration while you are flying. And the last question, I believe, from Jamie, does it still use the custom payload manager with 1200A? Yes, it does. Why should we invent something new if custom payload manager and custom payload monitor works well? The floor is yours, Steve.
I'm Steve Akins with Drone Arrival. I'm the CTO and founder. And we are thrilled to be able to be a part of this. And thank you guys both for the amazing walkthrough, which really kind of shows, I think, why we trust and implement all of the technologies from SPH Engineering as well as Inspired Flight for our customers. Drone Arrival's been in existence since 2017. We're focused on offering complete end-to-end solutions that include the aircraft sensors, training, and all that our clients require in one package tailored to you, our clients' needs. We're centrally located in Illinois with a Chicago office and 10 acres or 4 hectares of test site in Northern Illinois. We have a comprehensive portfolio of high-performance drone technology products and trusted partners, such as our partnership with SPH Engineering, which we've had since 2018, and we are so proud to also be a partner and reseller of Inspired Flight. One of the things that we've heard about today is the new Inspired Flight Blue 1200A, as well as SPH Engineering's integrated sensors compatibility. Why are we excited about this, and why is it so important? Number one, it fulfills a market need for a robust, high-performance Blue UAS to pair SPH integrated systems, which is a peerless combination of integrated drone technologies. The Blue UAS is a requirement with all U.S. DoD departments and all DoD contractors and subcontractors. And that's over 250,000 in the contracting workforce. Excuse me. There's a strong preference for non-DoD U.S. government departments, as well as state and local governments, to purchase secure Blue UAS drones. There's increasing preference for Blue UAS for private commercial companies, especially for security-sensitive applications such as oil and gas, construction, utility inspection, security, and much more. The IF1200A Blue UAS carries an imprimatur of safety and quality for international buyers as well, governments and commercial. And now we can fulfill requests for integrated drone-based GPR, magnetometer, methane detector, echo sounder, and other compatible sensor systems that until now were simply not available with Blue UAS. I want to give you a couple of really important examples of what this combination of the IF1200A and the SPH integrated system really brings to us. Number one would be methane detection. The objective, detect methane, fugitive methane, and find orphaned, abandoned wellheads, which both Adam and Alexei have touched on. The EPA in the United States estimates that there are more than 3 million abandoned oil and gas wells. About 2 million of those are estimated to be very old and never properly plugged. There are ongoing changing regulations and new rules that are being adopted in the US and the EU for routine monitoring and leak repairs. There's increased investor and shareholder pressure for oil and gas companies to cut methane emissions. State departments focused on environmental compliance, as well as oil and gas companies, are implementing systems that automate effective methane detection and localization of wells. What's the solution? The Inspired Flight 1200A with a multi-sensor system that includes the Laser Falcon LMD for methane detection. It can be used also with the MagNimbus atomic total field magnetometer for finding oil and gas wells, and various handheld sensors that we can also bring, which we call that last mile of discovery, to confirm precise location of leaks. Another great example is combining these two technologies is to do GPR, ground penetrating radar, ice surveys. The objective of this would be to support activities on ice that rely on accurate understanding of ice strength and potential vulnerabilities. An example would be that lakes have natural springs with possibly very thin ice in the middle, and slush ice has only half the strength of clear ice. So we need to detect the water content. And yes, the GPR can be pulled by a snowmobile or a robot, but that requires contact with the surface. And that can be very difficult to collect consistent GPR data over large areas. Here, we need assessment of thickness and integrity of the ice on a body of water prior to putting people or equipment on it. Ice happens to be an ideal medium for GPR surveys with penetration depth much greater than in other environments. Again, the solution is the Inspired Flight 1200A and a combination with the integrated SPH system of the radar system Zon Aero 1000 megahertz and the 500 megahertz antenna. Another really very important, and as Adam mentioned, something important to all of us and to all of our hearts around the world, is the clearance of UXOs and AXOs. The objective here would be to detect unexploded ordnance, UXOs, or abandoned ordnance, AXOs. Modern weapons are estimated to have a failure rate of 5%, and that can depend on various factors, which can lead the failure rates to go up as much as 40%. This information comes from an amazing presentation, a very helpful presentation by Alexei Dvorsky, who's the CTO of SPH Engineering. Russia, for instance, launches up to 20,000 artillery shells per day in Ukraine, with a peak up to 60,000 shells in February of 2022. At least 1,000 of those shells remain unexploded each day and can kill long after the end of the conflict. We have these situations all around the world. One tool in the toolbox to address these is the IF1200A with the magnetometers such as the MagNimbus for finding unexploded ordnance, UXOs, or abandoned ordnances, AXOs. As we all know, there is no robust or complete way to find, for instance, landmines. Landmines are different from UXOs and AXOs, but this is an incredible tool in that toolbox to be able to make a very important difference in terms of clearance of these types of dangers. These are just three examples of why we are so excited to be working with both Inspired Flight and SPH Engineering. The combination of their technologies, their integrated solutions with Blue List Inspired Flight 1200A can bring you and your customers the invaluable insights along with a new level of safety. Drone Arrival is so proud to be a partner, a dealer, and a complete solution provider for these technologies. We'd love for you to call us to learn more about how we can help you.
Thank you so much, Steve. Again,
Thank you, guys.
a couple of questions from me. The first one is, you said that you have a great test range in Illinois, and is it possible to come and visit you and to have a demo? And what should the customer do to get at your location, and how to arrange this demo?
That's such a great question. We have 10 acres in Northern Illinois, 4 hectares, and we'd love for you guys to all come to visit us, to spend some time. We have a variety of different terrain to be able to test all the sensors. We can even bring in methane canisters to test, for instance, the methane detection capabilities. Obviously, we'll have an Inspired Flight here to be able to show you guys how effective it can be. We have ground penetrating radar. We can show you in real time how incredible the insights that you can achieve with these technologies, the echo sounder, the magnetometers, how they can really change your workflow and bring insights to you and your customers that really are a challenge to achieve any other way. So please call us today, make an appointment to come and visit. At info, you can email us at info@dronearrival.com or call us at +1 773 257 3610.
Thank you, Steve. Question from Sync. Your solution cannot detect landmines? ? And why? And I believe probably the same question from Vitaly. You mentioned that landmines are different to UXOs. Can you please elaborate?
And I think there's an excellent webinar with Re-Robotics that Alexei Dabrowski, that I quoted some of his data from, is a must-see. And in that, Alexei explains how, with unexploded ordnances or abandoned ones, there is usually a level of ferrous metals in those that can be detected, for instance, with the magnetometer. That is, so important. There's so many areas around the world where that can be such a big danger. Landmines can be very different. They're much smaller. They don't necessarily have levels of the ferrous metals needed to accurately detect them. There are a number of other things too that differentiate between the UXOs, the AXOs as well, in opposed to the landmine. There are ways to begin to explore those. Obviously, LiDAR, magnetometer, hyperspectral, and other sensors, which we can discuss with you, can begin to give you insights, but there is no certain way as of yet to begin to really, in a completely reliable way, identify those landmines. But it's an incredibly important question, and it's something that we're all working on together to really move forward and to be able to achieve much more. At this point in time, though, the UXOs are such an important concern, and they are something that we can begin to address with the SPH Engineering technologies, the magnetometers, And obviously, especially for government applications, and as we talked about, even in an expanding way, anything related to that in terms of state and other agencies that require the quality and the the components that go into a blue listed drone like the 1200A.
Thank you, Steve. Great answer. Question from Mohammed. Would you like to perform a paid survey for a port?
Could you say that one more time? I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
Would you like to perform a paid survey for a port? I believe that's about GPR and Echo Sounder.
Yeah, we are always happy to consider that. We have a team that offers services. We'd love to kind of talk to you about what those applications are. We kind of walk through them to make sure that it's actually something that you're going to be able to get the ideas, the insights that you need. But yeah, give us a call. The contact information is available. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, Steve. And question from Xiao Binju. How much is the cost of IF1200A with GPR? I can answer about GPR. The complete bundle like GPR, SkyHub, all the wires, cables, licenses, training, all these things is about 30K euros. That's 33K dollars. And Adam, can you?
The 1200A kind of full up package with multiple sets of batteries, chargers, everything you need. You're looking around 35,000 US.
Okay, thank you. Yep, it seems that it's time to wrap up. Thank you again, Adam, Steve, for your great presentations, great contribution. That was very interesting and very insightful. Thank you, dear guests, for your questions. And we'll be happy to see you again at our webinars. And have a great day. Have a great week. See you.